I'm literally shooting this video at 12:30 in the night on a random Thursday, and I don't know, call me crazy why I keep doing these things, but I have been loving making these book videos. It's one of those things that I do best, talk about books. So whenever I get time, which is now, I am in front of this camera talking about books that I have loved, books that have spoken to me, books that you should read, books that I plan to read, and a lot more. So if you're new to the channel, stay tuned, and if you're an old subscriber, hello again. We're going to talk about some more books today. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Pooja at A Book by the Window. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are reading good. Before we get into this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and if you like the video by the end of it, please like, share and comment. My channel is not monetized yet and it's fairly new, so any feedback is good for me, and I really appreciate the support because I'm trying to get this channel monetized and also see some growth here because I love talking about books, and if I can do that full time, that would be amazing for me. And this is a win for you too. You'll see me talk more about books. People have been commenting a lot that they really do like my book recommendation, and that's a very big thing to say. I am honestly humbled and honored. But if you want to see more of me, I'll really appreciate some support on this channel, more so because this is new, and it really does help my morale when people like and share and comment and subscribe to the channel. So please do that, and without further ado, let's get into the video. Today I wanted to talk about 5 books under 200 pages that you can read to get out of the reading slump. Now this could be for people who are just beginner and haven't picked a book in a long while and want to get back to reading, or you are in a reading slump and you're finding it difficult to get back to reading, or you want a little break from your main read but want something fun and simple and shorter. So this video is gonna be for you. As for me, I love short reads. I keep going back to when and how I got into reading, and one of my fondest memories growing up was picking up short story reads from my library or the literature books that we used to have as our course books. And I would really get appealed to these short stories, stories that pack a lot in a few words or sentences. They build up fast or they build up slow, but they always end with a bang. So I like that a lot, and I also like the fact that I can read so many stories, so many books in a short amount of time. Whenever I feel like I'm in a time crunch, they do come in handy. I have a very special place in my heart, and I want to share that emotion today. So if you're someone who likes short reads or looking for more recommendation, this video is for you. And apart from the books that I'm going to talk about now, there are certainly more books that I wish to talk about, but this video is probably going to be very long if I do that. So we can tackle that in subsequent videos. For now, I'm going to start with the list. The first book in the list that I have for you today is The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. This is a very popular book. I'm pretty sure anyone watching this video would be familiar with the book, at least by its name, but I'll still go into what it entails and why I recommend it. The Metamorphosis is a classic novella written by Franz Kafka, first published in 1915. The story itself begins with the protagonist Gregor Samsa waking up one morning and finding himself being converted into a giant insect. As Gregor struggles to adapt to his new form, he finds himself being alienated in the society by his own friends and family. Now, the book dwells into themes of identity, isolation, and human condition, exploring how sudden changes can affect a sense of self. Kafka uses a mix of surrealism and dark humor to build up a narrative that's very thought-provoking, and it has lived with readers throughout century now. It's a compelling exploration of what it means to be a human even though one does not look the part. One of my favorite quotes from the book is, "I cannot make anyone understand what is happening inside me. I cannot even explain it to myself." Next up on the list is Harun and the Sea of Story by Salman Rushdie. This is a book that I recently read, and I've also reviewed it on my channel. I'm going to link it in the description box below if you're interested in an elaborate review, but I'll still go ahead and give a little summary here so that you are encouraged to pick it up for yourself. Harun in the Sea of Story is a very whimsical and enchanting story by Salman Rushdie, which was first published in 1990. The story follows a very young and brave Harun Khalifa who is on a quest to find his father's storytelling skill that he has recently lost. lost. His father Rashid is a very big storyteller in the land, but he recently lost his art of storytelling after his wife Suraya left them. Now Harun is very determined to help his father, so he embarks on a journey through the sea of stories where all the stories in the land originates. Along the way, he encounters very whimsical and quirky characters, including If the Water Genie, But the Hoopy, and Khatam Sood, who is on a quest to poison the sea of stories. The novel on the surface looks like a children's story, but it is layered with themes like censorship, importance of freedom of speech, and how everyone on this land is entitled to their own thoughts and the art of storytelling. Written as a response to the fatwa that he got for his other novel Satanic Verses, Harun and the Sea of Story is not only a children's enchanting tale, but it is also a powerful allegory on the power of stories and the resilience of human spirit. One of my favorite quotes from the book is, "What is the use of stories when they aren't even true?" The third book on the list is Animal Farm by George Orwell. Who doesn't know this book? Who doesn't know George Orwell? If you don't, only if you're living under a rock, you wouldn't know his name. But I'm gonna still go ahead and recommend this book for all the right reasons. This book was first published in 1945. This story is a satire and allegory on the Russian Revolution and the rise of Stalinism in Soviet Union. It's set on a farm where animals led by a pig, Napoleon, and Snowball overthrow their human owner, Mr. John, in a quest to find equality. But do they find equality? Initially, all the animals group together and they come up with animalism in quest of a better life and total equality. However, we see the pigs, as they gain more power, they start showcasing the oppressive behaviors of the humans that they have just overthrown. Napoleon in particular becomes a tyrannical leader, often manipulating other animals for his gains. There's a famous line in the book that says, "All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others," and it reflects the hypocrisy and corruption that emerges. Orwell uses this story to critique the socialistic ideals and the nature of power, showing how revolutionary movements can also be subverted by individual gains of those who want power for themselves. It's a very powerful and thought-provoking work that remains relevant even today. That's the beauty of Orwell's writing. No matter in what time and age you read them, they remain relevant because of their nature, because of human nature. And I'm going to end this recommendation with one of my favorite quotes from the book, which goes something like, "The creatures outside look from pig to man, from man to pig, and from pig to man again. But already it was impossible to say which was which." Did you realize that we're already at the fourth book in the list, and the fourth one is going to be more of a contemporary essay? And this is a book that I recommend all the time because when I first read it, I was really amazed and shook by its depth. It's a very small book because it's an essay, and even then it packs a lot. The book that I'm talking about is We Are All Feminist by Chimamanda Adichie. This book is mostly adapted by a TEDx that she gave in 2014. And as the title says, the essay argues the importance of feminism in contemporary society and what it means to be a feminist in the 21st century. Through these essays, she examined the pervasive impact of gender stereotype for both men and women and how it limits them to live their best lives. She advocates for a feminism that's more diverse and intersectional, not only just talking about gender inequality, but touching issues like race, class, and sexuality. She talks from her personal experiences and anecdotes and make a very strong case for the importance of feminism for the societal progress and inculcating a just society. "We should all be feminist" is often praised for its honesty, clarity, its straightforwardness, and more importantly, its accessibility, making complex topics really accessible to general public and just spreading the message to a wider audience. There's this powerful quote from her essay, "Gender matters everywhere in the world." And I would like today to ask that we should begin to dream about and plan for a different world, a fairer world, a world of happier men and happier women who are truer to themselves. Fifth book on the list is one Indian book that I wanted to add because a lot of my viewers are from India, and this is also a really popular favorite book that got converted into a movie. Both the book and the movie I absolutely loved, and I'm here to talk more about it. The book that I'm talking about is White Tiger by Arvind Adiga. This novel was first published in 2008. It's a very compelling and darkly humorous stories that highlight the class divide in India, and it's almost comical how there is so much difference between the rich and the poor, and we see it through the eyes of the main protagonist and what goes on through his head. This novel is narrated through some letters that are written by Balram Halwai, a very young man who came from a rural village in India from poverty but rose to become an entrepreneur in Bangalore. Balram recalls his journey of becoming a servant, then becoming a driver to a wealthy family, highlighting the corruption, the exploitation, and the look down upon by the riches on the poor all the time, even though we live in the 21st century, even though we live in a contemporary India, these things still happen. And I agree with a lot of these things. Balram's account is very witty, but it's also very sharp, cutting deep into the reality of modern India, exposing the harsh realities that some margins of the society still face today. It also explores theme of ambition, power dynamics, and the moral compromises that individuals make in pursuit of success. The title itself, White Tiger, symbolizes Balram's viewpoint about himself, a rarity in this jungle of survival, how he rises above his own situation of being poor and belonging to a certain caste. Tiga's novel received a lot of critical acclaim for its critical portrayal of complex problems in Indian society. It also went on to win the Mans Booker Prize in 2008. And there's this thought provoking quote from the novel that goes something like, "See, the poor dream all their lives of getting enough to eat and looking like the rich. And what do the rich dream of? Losing weight and looking like the poor." I'm gonna also add one book as bonus, and I already loved Neil Gaiman's books, but the book that I'm gonna recommend today is Ocean at the End of the World by this very lovely author who writes fantasy novels supposedly for kids, but a lot of adults seem to be hooked on it. The Ocean at the End of the World is a fantasy novella that got published in 2013 first. It is told from the perspective of an unnamed middle-aged man who returns to his childhood home to attend a funeral, and as he is revisiting the house, he reflects on a series of memories of strange and magical things happening in the same house when he was 7 years old. The book explores themes of memory, childhood innocence, and the power of imagination. Gaiman's lyrical prose and haunting narrative makes it a perfect read for readers of all ages. So why wouldn't you want to pick this one up? So there you have it. This is my list of books under 200 pages that you must definitely give a read. I have more books in the kitty, but today is not the time to read it. But before going, I'll also like to tell you that I really love my lipstick today. I had the lipstick and the gloss over it, and I'm gonna link it in the description box below for all the girlies watching this video, because on days that I'm really tired out of my wits like today, I like a dash of pink and I want to share it with you guys. So if you're stuck by this video so far, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate all the support, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Comment down below if you've already read some of the books and what are your thoughts on it, or if you'd like to add more to this list. I'm always open to feedback. I love chatting about books, and that's why I am sitting at 1 o'clock in the night talking about all the books that I love. I will see you guys next time, same place on this couch, and happy reading till then. I love all of you. Bye bye.